Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Accomplishment Coaching is proud to present the following fine programming. Accomplishment Coaching, where coaches lead and leaders coach. AccomplishmentCoaching.com.
Welcome to Leadership Insights Radio.
Thanks for listening in. I'm Wade Taylor, and this is a special episode in our series 2020 Business Vision, where we're inviting thought leaders from many industries to share their forecasts for the upcoming year. On today's show, we're going to be talking with Ed Cohen. He is the editor of Global Business of Global HR News, which you could learn about at globalhrnews.com, globalhrnews.com. Go ahead and open up a browser window and check that out right now. And we're going to be obviously talking about the world of global HR and employment and all of Ed's experience and wisdom, helping us understand how important that is going to be to this upcoming decade. You know, Ed, it is amazing that we're already to 2020.
Hello, Wade. Ed Cohen here, and thank you very much for having me.
Yes, all is good. You're hearing me okay?
I'm hearing you just fine.
Okay.
How about me?
Good stuff, good stuff. And so, again, it's amazing times that we're living in. I'd like to start out the conversation, though, with understanding a little bit about your history. And so take a few minutes to give us some context, what you do, and so we can better understand the perspective that your insights are being derived from.
Well, thanks a lot for this opportunity. It's fun. So my background is in advertising and public relations and marketing for many years. But rather than have an agency, I have a dedicated client base involved with global HR, which means large corporate, workforce strategy and management. And a lot of that has to do with moving talent across borders. And today, that is increasingly about compliance, legal, tax. It's crazy. But it is a gold mine for lawyers and tax consultants and for people who like me who can put it together.
Right. And as I understand, one of your avenues for sharing this knowledge are the events that you put on.
Yeah, we put together training modules, otherwise known as conferences, whereby corporate human resource leaders, managers, practitioners, come together along with a whole spectrum of services from tax and legal and relocation services, which could include everything from cultural awareness and language training through education resources. Think of private schools, think of public schools, academies, and spouse assistance and housing. Lots of moving parts.
Yeah, it sounds like you're dealing with a lot of stakeholders. There's so many different people that can be involved with this. Like you said, from employees to the employers to all the people helping with compliance. And you've got a great 30,000-foot view because you're touching bases with all of them with that global perspective. So with all that in mind, what do the rest of us need to be aware of as we're trying to improve our business in 2020 as it relates to a global marketplace of talent?
Well, business is global, and companies that are just starting up, it could be a company that started in a WeWork or at your dining room table. But if you have something good and you can communicate clearly and honestly and authentically, you can go global right away. So there's a lot to understand about that. Um, but let's just flip to the other side for a moment. Companies like, for instance, Mercedes Benz or Coca Cola, they've been doing global forever, right? So, what did they learn? How did they grow? Well, they figured out how to reach people across borders, across time zones, across cultures through the use of language and images and fair trade. But here we are today, and let's just talk about today for a couple of minutes. Many people think that because of the recent tax breaks for people who are wealthy and for big business in particular, we are coming into the roaring 20s. Well, remember that from 100 years ago. Uh, Unfortunately, that all crashed in 1929, and let's hope that that never happens again. But I'm calling this now the soaring 20s. And we're going to focus on global HR, which means human resources, people management on a global basis. So just not the US, but Mexico or England, or France, Germany, Luxembourg, wherever. Everybody has their own policies, their own culture, their own traditions, their own ways of doing things. Certainly, there's consolidation across borders and time zones because of international business. So we're calling it Global HR Business Challenge for the soaring 20s, attracting and retaining talent, the effect of technology, and the need for companies, particularly large companies, to enable and foster innovation within their silos, within their ranks. And let me tell you, it's very difficult.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to mention, just time races by. We've got about 5 minutes. Um, I'm understanding your point that this is universal, small businesses to large. I mean, even in the world of Fiverr that people may have heard of, oftentimes the people you're hiring on Fiverr are overseas. But really focusing on those larger companies and that C suite, can you give us about a minute's worth of the core thing that they should be thinking of that either they aren't thinking of or they're thinking of incorrectly? Again, what's the C suite need to embrace about global talent?
Yeah, so good question. And so we need to, as business people, particularly leaders of large organizations, they need to ask new questions about their operations. For instance, very quickly, are the policies designed to meet the goals for a globally mobile workforce? And how are we managing our assignees and reintegrated employees to achieve our goals? Another one, how do our mobility goals and outcomes tie to our values, business plan, and the value proposition statement? And finally, are we conducting a review of our policies and practices to see if we are achieving what we set out to do? In other words, are we wasting our money? So I need to also very quickly bring this in. So, lady manager and executive with Unilever, which is a huge company. So Lena Nair, the chief human resource officer and a LinkedIn top voice, has said, and I quote her, if I assume that my experience of the last 25 years is what's going to help me be successful in the next few years, let me tell you that I'm wrong, because that experience is becoming less and less worthy. What's important now is how are we learning the new things we need to get capable and get ahead of the changes we're seeing around us, the new generation, technology, gig economy, compliance, geopolitics. It's crazy making. So we need to think about all that, and that's what makes the world of global HR and global business very exciting these days. Wade, thanks very much for this opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we've got about a minute left. And so as they need to be more aware of all those changes, that range of things, tell us about like this upcoming event in San Francisco, which is an opportunity to learn.
Well, thanks very much. That's happening on January 23, and it's being hosted by WeWork, the shared services, WeWork, along the waterfront. And our guest speakers are corporate managers, senior corporate managers from Twilio and from Riverbed Technologies and from Twitter and somebody else. Let's see, Flexport is another one. So these are high-tech companies based in San Francisco area, and the senior managers are coming to talk with each other at the Global HR News Conference, January 23.
All righty. And so I encourage everybody to go to globalhrnews.com and learn more about that event and other events that are coming up, because Ed is doing a fine job of reminding us as we adapt to changes in workforce, changes in technology, changes in consumer understanding. We need to be doing all that with a global perspective, whether it's regarding our customers or the talent that's allowing us to serve those customers. So again, great information. Ed Cohen, globalhrnews.com. This is another episode of Leadership Insights Radio, powered by WSRadio.com. We are the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What? Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children.
After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days? What's that mean?
Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.